Okay, we're back. Alright, everything's fine. Check this out. Yeah, you don't know nothing about this though. Woo! Real gamer. Real gamer stuff. Alright, tell me if this appeals to you or not, Kimo. Huh? What? Why can't... I actually am so confused. Hold on. Yeah, what? Okay. What? Yeah, it's connected. I don't understand. Oh, so cringe. Something's wrong with my PC, so so something is shorted in it, but it's fine, because I know what to do, actually. So long, mouse. I don't need you right now. I did not need it earlier. Okay. Wait, oh, do I have to play it in big? Hold on. Let me play it in big screen mode. Sometimes that does help, actually. Okay, fucking. Hopefully it works this time. Why is there no audio for me now? What? I know what happened. I know what happened. I don't know what happened. Oh. Well, there you go. Now I know what happened. Okay. Now we're actually back. Check this out. is Tony Hawk when instead of skateboarding you're just running? Kinda, yeah. But also there is a level, I forget where it's at. I might have already done it, I forget. Oh. And so the idea is that you can't jump. What you do is you run off of an edge, and to gain speed, you can dive, right? And if you dive at just the right angle, instead of getting it good, you get it perfect like that. Perfect. Okay. So this is like how the levels typically go. Yeah. You're a cute delivery girl. Hawaii. I did bad. Also, it's everybody's favorite, a roguelike. Everybody likes a roguelike where you get 3 options. Come on! It's like human nature. Seems like kind of game where you could just be Sonic instead. Yeah. Oh my god, I took my eyes off the screen for a second. Oh yeah. And the stars could be gold rings, clearly. I mean, yes. This is somebody who wanted to make a cool Sonic game and they were not allowed. You know what? Even if it is could have been Sonic clone, this game is tight. I'm not gonna lie, it feels really good. And I'm stinky at it, to be clear. Oh no. Fuck! It's like if Sonic had to run away from corruption. It really needs some more fluffing up, but the core gameplay is solid. I couldn't see. And it shoots you right back out. Shut up. You can get a board too, yeah, and it boosts you up in speed. I just haven't played this game in like a year, so I kind of am a stinker. There we go. I'm remembering how to play the game. Oh, this is also a sneaky thing, which cool. I'm expecting a gun now, like Shadow the Hedgehog. True! This is not the place. What are you looking for? Somewhere that's stable, that won't fall apart so quickly. How do you know this isn't it? Can't you feel it? This place is threadbare. True, they need more content. Oh yeah, I think I get it. It does feel like any little disturbance would make it collapse. That disturbance will come sooner rather than later. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Oh, I'm too broke. I'm actually just too broke. Wait, why are you calling me a brokey? Yeah, forget this guy. I want his stuff anyways. Oh my god, I am just off course. Okay. That yellow bar is how much boost I get. And I get boost off of hitting perfects and stuff. I don't feel like fighting a boss. I barely remember how to play this game, actually. What did I just do? Come on. I did not mean to buy any. Whatever. I'm fine. The game is good. I'm not frustrated. Blah, 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 blah. Oh. I'm cooked, actually. Okay, we'll take a D. Also, this game is free. It's called Haste. Path of least resistance. Okay. Really not what I meant to do, but that's okay. Okay. Hey, D's get degrees. I think that's how it goes. Shard failed? But now you get an idea of the game. That's okay. Yeah, you get more points if you hit the angle at just right. Like, that was bad. This would be perfect, because I went to the side. Perfect. Whee. I think you also get one for near misses. Yeah, close call. I could also just do this all day, I'm not lying. Whee! I want the game to come out so that I can play it, and then all this other shit will make more sense. Yo, I just found out today, by the way, that one of the games I really liked playing, what is it called? Fucking web fishing. Literally just a chill fishing game, right? Fucking people found out that the developers were gay and trans or whatever the fuck. Bullied them off the internet. Doxed them, haunted their families and shit. Because they made a fucking a cool fishing game where you get to chat and relax. Bullshit, dude. I hate people, man. People stink. Boo! Let the gay furries make cool shit. Fuck. That's how we get mashed potatoes and shit, dude. Gay furries just doing shit, bro. Come on. Everybody knows that. You think a guy that's banging hot chicks all day, every day is making fucking fried chicken? Is inventing fried chicken? No. No, somebody who's really uncool and cringe. They're doing it. All the stuff you like is invented by somebody who's really cringe. And that's why they're cool. Urgh, it makes me so mad. Yes. Yeah, I also want to share that game with you. I might. Do I want to stream some more? Yeah, I'll probably stream a little bit more later. But for right now, I think I'm gonna have some lunch. I haven't eaten today. That game is sadly just running pretty bad on my computer. But every Wednesday from now on, I will be streaming more and more of Dispatch, and you should tune in because that game is incredible. And if not Wednesday, it'll be Thursdays. Also, yeah, I actually will be back, so I'm gonna play more of whatchamacallit. I installed it yesterday, and for the first time, and I'm having actually I actually had fun playing it for the very first time. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline is actually pretty good. I just needed the mods. I also have the Quarry. Hold on. Actually, wait. I'm gonna look some games to. Oh, that's right. I didn't. Games to play while eating. Where are you at? Oh yeah, Hearthstone, FTL, Minesweeper, true. Oh, a single player game. But no, I want to play. I want the game to go while I'm eating. Is the thing I don't want to play. I'm actually gonna be a grios React asshole. So yeah, my content's kind of shite. Adam and Eve, not Emu and Steve. Zebek. Tales from 85. Ooh. Is there any funny content for me to watch? Well, oh, yeah, yes, okay, cool. Thank you, Elvira. I love you. Yeah, not like her banging ass hot dog skin. Neferi has one of my favorite skins in the game because it's funny, and that is they reworked her, so now people play her. Neferi Glizzy. Glizzy. She's a demon dogs. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. I want to see your dogs. That's why I don't like it. Nah. Do you want to watch YouTube videos? Is actually the real question. Chat. Are we trying to watch some YouTube videos? Chat. Here, let me get your brains all fricked up on World of Darkness. Here, so when I play the other game, you kind of have an idea of what's happening. Mm. I'm gonna pause it though. Mm. Wait, didn't I click on Elvira? God, I'm gonna kiss her. I wish I could kiss Elvira, dude. She likes ladies, you know? Only. She said ladies only, you know? And I gotta respect that. Okay. Now I'm back. Mm-hmm. I love you, Elvira. Thanks for holding down the fort, because I know you won't report me. It's good! You're welcome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of morbid. Yummy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm. Agreed. That's awesome. Huh? Mm. Yes. Yes. Hmm. Yeah. That's us. True. This is the video game I'm playing. No, we don't live here. We don't live here, so I'm not watching it. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, it's the best. Wait, what? Are you kidding me? Ah! We're starting it over. I don't care. I don't care. We're starting over. From the top. From the top. Okay, it's fine. How's there no audio? Hold on.
Printing. You write it, and you might have seen it.
Fixed. Oh my gosh. Okay. I hope. Oh my god. And we're actually rewatching it. I don't care. I don't care because I want you to know about this. I don't care. We're rewatching it. It's fine.
It's based in White Wolf's World of Darkness franchise, now Paradoxes, and follows mostly mundane people hunting vampires, werewolves, and other creatures of the night through the mean streets of Norfolk, UK. A lot of people in the comments section report really liking it, so thanks, guys.
I really like
But
it.
lots of comments also mentioned they'd want to learn more about the setting. Not
You
just
do.
hunter or vampire or whatever beastie of the week we present, the wider World of Darkness.
World of Darkness.
We got those comments a lot back in the old TTS days, with Warhammer. And this time we thought we'd act on them. So that's this. So, if you want to get into World of Darkness,
You do.
let me be your guide.
Thank you, Speaker D.
Content disclaimer. This is
Oh.
our first time ever doing a video essay, and so this is very experimental. Also, I am not the master godbrain who has been playing World of Darkness since, like, I was a protoplasm.
I
This
will react
is
to this
the
harder
godbrain
this
of
time.
Someone who got into it, like about, a while ago, back in high school, and just my personal experiences. There's going to be people that have been more invested, know more, and probably have a better idea of whatever the hell they're talking about than me. But
Not me.
I've got quite a reasonable perspective on things, and I like to think I know what I'm talking about. Cut this. This was a completely unscripted ramble.
The f***ing station.
I'm Speaker D. This is Ogre Popenang, whatever that means, and this is our very first video essay. So let's get started. Let's start with two things. Number one, World of Darkness is a tabletop role-playing game first, and everything else second. There's video games, card games, books, etc., but it all sprang out of the tabletop setting. Number two, as this is a role-playing game, in order to immerse you best into the setting, we're going to start with you. Yes, you. Bear with me for a second. Have you ever gone on a solitary walk at night? You walk under the pale glow of streetlights. Shadows smother your familiar surroundings. No one ahead of you. No one behind. No one but the faint sound of passing cars and an infrequent, dull
This is
hum.
before the new Masquerade game came out.
It doesn't
but
really matter where. A suburban cul-de-sac.
I'm playing the old
dark
one,
corner of the city,
and that game is
maybe
pretty
a
fun.
dirt road in the country. It doesn't really matter.
And I'm gonna probably
Have you
end
ever
up playing
gazed
it
up
or
at these
running.
buildings, the ones
this
cloaked
game.
by night, and wondered
Bummer.
what secrets are they hiding?
Yeah.
Who uses this place? Who's in there? That
Who
weird
is in
farmhouse
there?
you always pass, the crooked sign.
Oh.
The apartment above the boutique store, whose lights flicker rhythmically in the night.
Oh.
Or maybe the suburban home, the one choked with weeds. We've never seen anyone enter or exit,
Oh.
but you've always spied that same rusted car in the driveway.
Yeah, it's my house. I
In our
live there.
normal, everyday world, these things aren't that deep. Inside the farmhouse is a normal family. The apartment needs to call an electrician.
Yeah.
The house is just vacant, or has bad owners.
Aw.
Simple as. The World of Darkness is a lot like our everyday world, but more specifically, it's the secret world. The one hidden just
Sorry, the
behind
screen got
the
darker
veil.
and it's frightened me.
The lights flickering in the apartment window aren't random. They're a signal. And when decoded, they tell their beholder the exact time and date of their death.
Whoa, that's
Within that
cool.
vacant suburban home, a coterie of vampires gorge themselves on slumbering neighbors. As the nights pass, more homes grow vacant.
Whoa, that's
Missing
cool.
posters paint the streetlights. And
Yeah.
that farmhouse, the family,
Uh huh.
normal as normal can be.
Ugh.
But if you look with the right eyes,
Oh.
you'd see the spirits of the countless buried in the dirt,
Yeah.
howling the names of their killers into bleak, uncaring night.
Woo.
World of Darkness packs dark urban fantasy just past the everyday periphery. But there's one more twist.
Another twist.
Unlike our lives, where most people are shut out from grim and hidden workings, here, you're in on it. In World of Darkness, you aren't the man on the street. You are the vampire. You are the ghost.
Huh?
You send the signal.
Oh no.
You bury the bodies.
Ah.
Sounds morbid.
It is.
Gothic.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh.
But you can throw all that in the garbage because World of Darkness is also Clown World. Hello, welcome. Dracula
Yay.
is real. He conned his way to vampirism, and everyone hates him because he's famous.
Dracula guy's fucking scared.
It's an evil fast food chain that puts literal demons into their cheeseburgers. It is owned by the same corporate death cult that owns the evil beer company, doing the same thing to their beverages. The reason they do this? To subtly convince random people to beat their wives. This is not a joke. You want more? Oh, I can give you more. In 1914, a deranged inventor named Sir Vargo was so disgusted at the capacity for mankind to destroy, he brought a giant Zeppelin armada across all of Earth's cities and declared himself world emperor. A hit squad composed of secret agents, killer robots, and biofreaks were barely able to force him to retreat. And then real-life scientist Michael Faraday vaporized him so hard they both exploded. And everyone on Earth just forgot this ever happened because the New World Order covered it up. I feel insane! And I'm not even talking about the steampunk explorers fighting Nazis on the Hollow Earth, or the ancient kingdoms of the Lizard Gang. The setting is off its shit!
Yeah. No. That tracks. Makes sense.
It's got some pretty crazy stuff in it.
Couple
Unlike
things.
my maximalist lore drop, it's also cool.
It is cool.
Let's take a step back. Save for those moments where the comedy of absurdity of a situation just completely takes the reins, you probably won't notice how incredibly elevated the world is, because WoD plays it pretty grounded. Only the DM, or storyteller, really sees how deep the rabbit hole goes. For most everyone else, it kind of feels like the world we know. Just a little darker, and a little more absurd. For example, WoD vampires are thought to bear the curse of Cain, the first murderer featured in classical hits like the Bible. But this literally doesn't matter at all to the 20-something stoner who got turned by his Tinder date.
True.
Hell, he could live in scheme for hundreds of years, and it still might not matter. In fact, it probably won't. See, WoD has a lot of advantages in setting itself in our world and our time. In World of Darkness, you aren't just relying on what a DM thinks a medieval world should look like. You're relying on a DM's knowledge of the real world to set your scene. Most DMs have no idea what a medieval economy looks like. They haven't really thought through how the world would change if a 90-foot giant shit lightning in the local textile industry. Nor should they be expected to. That'd be a lot to expect. Honestly, you'd have to be a messed up medievalist to get anything done. But you live in the world you're playing in. You know what happens if you call in a bomb threat to an airport. You know about how long it takes to drive from Houston to New Orleans. You know how much gas costs, what can be found at a local grocery store. And the shit you don't know and need to research? Brother, it's the real world! What do you think's gonna happen if a 90-foot giant shits lightning on your local meadery? But beyond just being our world, WoD has its own feel too. Yes, a lot of familiar locations exist, but World of Darkness is going for something a bit more elevated than an adventure localized entirely within your local regs. In my completely subjective opinion, WoD is best described as No Country for Old Men, as directed by Suda51. No, that doesn't necessarily mean Anton Chigurh running around with a beam katana, necessarily. Instead, it's the dry humanity of No Country for Old Men, skirting the edges of the law and the world of the known. It's the familiar town where fiction painfully meets fact. Heroes taking their chances have their luck run out, while evil is implacable, inescapable, mundane, and no less immune to the normative conventions of the world they live in. The coin travels across time and space, from minting to now, to save a cashier's life. And another makes the same trip, to to take someone else's. Or maybe both were as meaningless as the money people die for. Into this formula comes the saccharine madness reminiscent of Suda51's No More Heroes or Killer 7. Hammer horror monsters run webs of shadows, where blood is lubricant to an uncontrollable mosaic of agendas. Just as characters can be drab like No Country, they can be bright and shining, vibrant with camp, mystery, stupidity, or intrigue. There's a sense that you're caught in this bardo state, a place between life and death, between the pawn, the king, and, if you're fortunate, the errant spanner in the works. It's a celebration of mayhem, decay, or at least the people who live amongst it. It may be absurd, but those absurdities just mimic the off-kilter beats of our own manic world. That's just my take on it, though. My World of Darkness. But to hear WoD describe itself, the term it lands on is gothic punk. I like it, it's got a nice ring to it. But what exactly does that mean? Well, to hear it from them.
The term Gothic punk best describes the decadent ambience and rebellious fervor of the World of Darkness. Violence blends with elegance as wealth and privilege mix into the panoply of fear and cultural conflict. In cracked, squalid cities, people dance and while away the hours in glittering social clubs, trying to ignore the urban center's decay. The towering buildings of the downtown scene cling to art-graven styles. By contrast, slums roil with strife and warfare as desperate masses of humanity claw at their pieces of turf. Under the gleaming spires of the church, the halls of justice, and the artifacts of society, the masses strive for lives of comfort and refinement. The Gothic image of looming architecture is everywhere, chased with gold and silver as it watches over the dispossessed. In contrast, punk nihilism echoes in the overpowering despair of dreams destroyed. Ignored by society, the less fortunate rebel. The upper classes revel decadently in their wealth, while gangs, criminals, the insane, and the deprived maraud through crumbling neighborhoods. The buzz of technology is nearly overwhelming, as disenfranchised groups revolt through shocking displays of brutality, art, faith, and mysticism. The world careens down a fast track to self-destruction, and everyone wants an escape.
That's the creator's vision, and honestly it rings true. Most game lines have that kind of dichotomy. The one between the monolithic power structure versus the burgeoning voices of those that haven't quite bought in. What could a setting where Draculas control Amazon's board of directors be, if not Gothic? What is a setting where you can smash their faces in with a golf club, if not punk? Before I get sidetracked down a never-ending ramble hole, though, besides the unique feel and elevated supernatural shenanigans, being set in our world has advantages other than knowing how much a hot dog costs. It also gives players at the table an onus to make characters that feel real. Sure, those real people might be vampires, or have some elevated profession like hitman, rockstar, criminal, CEO, but it also empowers you to make your PC a 28-year-old garbage man named Chuck, who just happened to get wrapped up in whatever game line he's in. In my opinion, it's one of the most fun ways to play. Just make your character sheet what you'd expect a garbage man to have, give him a few hobbies, figure out what matters to him, and then just jump off from there and see where you amble. It's not some Dark Souls wretched playthrough handicap either, by the way. In my home vampire game, between the member of the esoteric snake cult and the overworked car mechanic, it's the car mechanic that's left every encounter with a body count, and the cultist who tends to have to staple their tongue back in their mouth once some mean beastie caves their teeth in. All of this is probably overwhelming, and that's kind of on purpose. But WoD has this really bad reputation sometimes. It's a game only for ephemeral thespians who take their role-playing and setting very, very seriously. And yeah, those guys definitely have a place. Quite frankly, close-knit communities of goth LARPers built this fucking city. You might think that's cringe, but you might also think that the world is flat, so get over yourself. But much like in our world, in my most humble of opinions, WoD is a lot weirder than that. It's not some solitary penumbral orb of misery and mope. It's fucking hilarious and strange and warm and heartfelt, just as it's tragic and dark. WoD is a place where, much like the real world, you can go from horrifying tragedy, harrowing encounters, dreadful monsters, and then have a 2-hour in-character argument stuck in line for fast food, trying to explain to Dale, the food service worker, why you're covered in Fomor blood. It's a crazy world, and there are so many different flavors of WoD to choose from. Run as a monster, clinging to their humanity as a vampire. Be a frantic survivor, desperate to wake others up to a supernatural menace and hunter. Or turn into an 8-foot werewolf and fight a radioactive death shark in Werewolf. Yes, this is the thing that happens in Werewolf. Yes! It's cool. It's also dumb. Is all this pretentious? Yes. And maybe a little too subjective. I mean, I did just tell you that WoD isn't so self-serious before hitting you with a few film school essays. But cringe is dead and I'm still breathing, so that's the way it's gonna go. If anything I'm rambling about sounds even halfway interesting to you, keep watching, and you'll probably like what you see.
Part 2. Game Philosophy.
Before I keep selling you the legend of John Hender's hammer, though, I should tell you how WoD earns the accolades I've been heaping on it. Most TTRPGs are built on the famous 3 pillars. That's combat, exploration, and social gameplay. Some games flex especially hard on certain pillars. Pathfinder 1st Edition wouldn't be Pathfinder 1st Edition if you weren't busting the mechanics open like some multi-armed gunslinger tycoon of the action economy. Meanwhile, a game like Call of Cthulhu is all about the mystery and horror of Lovecraftian fiction. Players aren't called adventurers, they're called investigators. And that's because the game focuses more on the pillar exploration than rushing down Yogg-Sothoth with a blicky and a pocket full of dreams. Likewise, as you probably guessed, World of Darkness is the role-player's roleplay game, with emphasis on your character first and everything else second. Therefore, it leans most heavily on the social pillar. What does that mean? Essentially, if you're tuning in for Vampire Diablo, then there are better games for you. The systems here are built around drama, suspense, and politicking. Combat's fun, but it's also incredibly lethal and risky. Any schmuck with a shotgun can get lucky and remodel your face into a vertical conversation pit. Unless, of course, you're a werewolf, an 8-foot-tall killing machine of Gaia's vengeance and fury, except for also, no, it's still possible. Just more difficult. You're not invincible. No one is. In WoD, the game isn't usually about plundering a dungeon. It's about maintaining whatever stressful life you're presently leading, struggling and changing as you bounce between unseen agendas, all while fighting to make your own possible. WoD is ultimately a game about the players, their decisions, their goals, more so than other RPGs. You set your agendas. You decide what's important to you. Your storyteller's there to guide you, to challenge you, and ultimately build a satisfying arc. Different game lines have different ways to approach the more social, character-driven aspects of the game. These approaches are universally interesting, and something I'd love to go more in depth with for individual game lines in later videos. Here's a few in a nutshell, though. In Vampire, you play as a monster, forced to drink the blood of the living to survive, struggling and compromising with your darkest self to retain your humanity. It's an experience best summarized in the signature phrase, "A beast I am, a beast I become." In Mage, you are an enlightened will worker with a unique gift, the near limitless power of magic. And with that magic, you can quite literally change the world. The question is, how will you? Do you have the right? And have you thought through what happened to the world if you did? Or hell, what happened if you didn't? Wraith in particular has a very strong concept. You're dead and gone. A verifiable ghost with a whole world of ghost politics and ghost intrigue surrounding you. But all of it is artifice. At its heart, Wraith is about moving on. Your goal isn't to become king of Ghost Mountain, it's to confront your death, accept it, leave your character behind as bravely as you can. This act of confronting mortality, of essentially starting play with a character who ideally won't survive, it's very interesting. I think it's pretty powerful and bold. And the only reason more people don't play it is because another player at your table contractually has to whack you with a horsewhip all game. It's very weird, kind of adversarial, but it can be good. Only play it with your rabbi, your priest, your polycule, whoever you trust. But hey, you want to hear more about combat? Let's go. Depending on the kind of creature you're playing as, you have different systems working to keep you more alive than the average Joe when some psychopath is belt sanding your skull in half. But no matter what you are, you need to plan your engagements, at least a little bit. Fight dirty, try to strike first, strike fast. Strike when the guys you're trying to decapitate aren't staring directly at you, because even if you'll probably win a fair fight, you could also suddenly and unexpectedly not. This more realistic approach to combat not only encourages you to fight sparingly and find other means of resolving conflicts, but it also gives you, the player, a leg up on even the biggest of bads. This is because the metric for oh fuck for essentially everyone in the setting is 3 to 6 people with shotguns hanging out somewhere they don't expect them. That statement on the dangers of combat shouldn't be confused to mean every beastie is a pushover, though. Vampires take bullets like love taps, a werewolf pack decisively wins the M1 Abrams matchup, and mages can essentially deal with anything so long as they've got prep time. But whether you're running a hunter's cell, a vampire coterie, or a wraith circle, they're called circles? Anyway, no matter what your boy band is called, the thing that can give you the edge over supernaturals more powerful than you is this. The base rule for everyone else in World of Darkness is something to the effect of, fuck you, got mine. Most greater societies, organizations, or deeply troubled people tend to go it alone. When they confederate, it's usually on deeply unequal footing, with strangled ambitions and treachery around every corner. Predatory people act like predators for all the good and all the ill that nets them. So that's a strength for your special group, who, ideally, do not all hate each other and or are not actively plotting each other's death. Ape together strong, so if tactical plastique placement fails you, know that just having a circle of dependable friends and allies is a hidden X factor in a world like this. For those paying attention, yes, you're goddamn right, the power of friendship is meta in the World of Darkness, just like it is in real life. This shouldn't be taken to think that all supernatural creatures are weenies, though. Vampires juggle dumpsters, the Fae can shoot death beams by playing the ukulele. It's just that even with that kind of firepower, damage in combat is kept somewhat realistic. Mark Henry is a very strong lad, but if I ran him over with an 18-wheeler, his strength would not avail him. Probably. Maybe the best way to view it is mostly realistic. It's not as if there are painstaking systems meant to reflect getting your wounds infected or whatever. In fact, as dangerous as combat is, you can sometimes pull away with even the faintest of odds. Case in point, I have one memorable story of a game where one of my players very bravely leapt out and started doing kung fu shit at a group of heavily armed PMC board kickers. He beat the snot out of one, but was seemingly oblivious to the fact he had put himself point-blank range with his rear to a man with an automatic shotgun. This should have been the end of his character, for despite their kung fu moves, they had no protections outside of their leather jacket. Yet, somehow, that bastard managed to walk away, not just with their life, but with nary a scratch. Is that because it's a dice game and I rolled the worst damage in the world? Yes, but it also illustrates a point. Because on the other end of the spectrum, you have moments where getting shot point-blank with a shotgun does not result in a small boo-boo, and instead bypasses powers granting invincibility and immortality. This is best seen in 5th edition's Concrete Crawl, a lore event where a surprise shotgun blast turned the perfectly chiseled face of Camarilla faction leader Hardestaff the Younger into a goopy splattering of extra spicy alphabet soup. Despite the fact that the guy had a near-complete mastery of Ventrue Super Durable. Personally, I've had it both ways. The combat isn't realistic in the sense that things are modeled realistically, and you have to make sure your wounds don't get infected with Warhammer Fantasy shit. It's realistic in the sense that combat is confusing, tumultuous, and dangerous. Outside of Werewolf, WoD is not typically that combat-focused of a game, so when it does happen, combat accentuates the social consequences of battle, namely the risk of death. So, why then, if it's so dangerous, would anyone get involved in combat? Because, dummy, it's fun! Also, your characters probably have something to fight for. And if they don't, dumbass, you probably have a boss you're beholden to that's gonna make you do shit you don't want to do because they don't want to do it. Whether it's your ideals, your own survival, or pure self-interest, most inhabitants of the World of Darkness will eventually find violence filtering into their lives. WoD has a strong emphasis on corrupt systems of power, Almost every game line has a heaping helping of row row fight the power baked directly into it. Unless, of course, you choose to row row be the power, in which case your prerogative is making sure anyone fights the law has about as much success as the Bobby Fuller 4. Fight the Yoke of the Ancients as an anarch vampire, or jockey for your place at the top of the Camarilla. Toil to bring magic back to the world with Council of Nine Traditions, or keep the masses moving towards a utopia in the Technocratic Union. Or fuck it! Sit it all out! Don't pick a side! Trouble, inevitably, will always come to you. But the choice and its consequences are always yours. So, if you're ready to play a tabletop role-playing game that focuses on exploring your own special snowflake as they struggle and suffer in a hostile world of freaks, if you're okay getting your head popped off because Soup Can Joe, the heavy-hauling hobo, rolled 6 10s on their firearms roll, if you like vampires, werewolves, wizards, and urban decay, World of Darkness might be for you. The only question is, where do you start? The answer is the video game. World of Darkness is lucky enough to have several excellent video games under its belt, but the one everyone talks about is legendary crime against semicolons, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Do not let punctuation fool you. Bloodlines is very, very good. A classic, some might say. Many people might say. Many people might say better than me might say. So I won't go into exhausting detail. If you've never heard of this game, there are many excellent breakdowns on Bloodlines to pursue at your leisure, but take my word for it. If ever there was a one primer, my god, it's this game. In it, you play a freshly embraced vampire of the Chosen Clan, plunged headfirst into a web of undead politics, treachery, and other hot topics. Your decisions matter, the characters feel human, and I think has encapsulated the feeling of World of Darkness better. Is it flawed? You bet your ass it is. Don't ever ask me what a Kuei Jin is! But to be brief, I highly recommend it to just about anyone who has ever drawn breath on the planet. Just, yeah, play the unofficial patch, because everything bad you've heard about Hobby Surgeon is true. But I know you want more. You want the TTRPG. So I'm gonna tell you where to start there, too. But first...
Imagine, if you will, you are on an airplane. It crashes into the Atlantic Ocean, and miraculously, you survive. A scream. Another survivor dragged into the brine. Fins emerge. The hungering, deadly maw of a great white shark swimming straight for you. In this situation, wouldn't you rather be at Noble Knight Games? Noble Knight Games has given us a mysteriously sourced bag of money to promote this anti-shark propaganda. And also to remind you that it is the premier location for tabletop games and RPGs in Madison, Wisconsin, where you now live! Are you and your coven suffering from symptoms of dystopium and looking for a new, fresh RPG franchise to fill the void? Oh, you are? What? None better to help plug that gaping wound in your Sunday evenings than Noble Knight Games! You want to play Vampire the Masquerade? Which one? How about Vampire the Requiem? Oh, that one. That's gotta be. Oh, there it is! How do they do it? What's going on? And they have Mummy in stock. Okay, I'm less scared. It's safe to come out again. Wargaming? They got it. Boards games? They got it. The Spear of Longinus? They keep it in the back. Glue? All the glue you can eat. But what to do when that Mafia book you need is sold out? Well, add it to your want list. You'll get an email as soon as someone with the book dies and their possessions are contributed to the Noble Knight Game Archives. Thank you. Or if someone sells it to them through their buy and sell program, which you can also do. All this with a free shipping within the U.S. for any order over $149, as well as a flat rate U.S. shipping option with all orders shipped out within 24 hours, which indeed covers your order of 15 Blood Dim Tide supplements, you mermaid milk freak. Do you see this knight? He fights for your freedom. He does want to kill you, but he won't. Why? Because gamers like you populate his web store, buy his goods, and temper his wrath. In conclusion, who was D.B. Cooper? I don't know, but you might find the answer at nobleknight.com.
Part 3 editions.
Okay, have you played Bloodlines? Yes? Great. Did you not? That's fine too. I mean, it's a great game worth your time, but not all necessary, just useful. It's a great way to step into the world, especially if you have problems getting a stable group together for a tabletop game. But supposing you're ready for that step anyway, you've got a table wanting to try out World of Darkness, you know how to play a tabletop role-playing game, or otherwise excited to learn, where, amidst all these crazy WoD books, do you start? That's a complicated question. Let me lead you to the answer. First, you'll need to pick which game line. Each game provides different creatures for you to take the roles of, different themes and toolboxes to play around with. For instance, love everything I've talked about with combat. Werewolf is, and always will be, the most combat-focused WoD game. Start your search there. Want intrigue? Every game line does intrigue, but few do it as well as Vampire. Or fuck off, disregard all of that. You think elves are cool? Play Changeling. Cast a mighty spell and play Mage, if you fucking dare. Play whatever. All the shit I talk about in the themes is optional. You can make any kind of game you want with these systems. I'm just covering what the default is slanted towards. Here are the issues you're going to run into, though. For one, WoD has been around since the 1990s, and it can be easy to get overwhelmed by choice. Which book should I play? Which edition is the right one? Etc. That's number one. Here's number two. Despite the wide bevy of WoD games, they're not all updated to the latest edition, 5th. In fact, at time of writing, only 2 are. Usually there's not too much of an issue playing between editions, but with 5th, there is one. Or well, more of one. Slight changes in how difficulty, damage, stats, and other things are handled make it harder to cross over with older games. This means you have several essential choices. Option 1. At time of writing, only Vampire the Masquerade and Hunter the Reckoning have 5th edition variants. Thus far, compared to earlier games, 5th edition games focus on smaller stakes and slower XP growth with weaker characters. This is done in service of creating a more intimate feel for the players. And it works! It focuses on making you feel less like a character in the World of Darkness and more like a person. In my humble opinion, it's quite successful at that. Early trends involve bigger factions being weaker and more flawed, and more of the onus is on the younger generations to fight for their place in the world. I have overall less to say about 5th edition, largely because it's pretty self-explanatory. Pick it up, play it, and enjoy. Just know that everything else has yet to fully arrive. It's a strong edition, and I'm sure the best is yet to come. It's also worth noting, if you watch the very excellent LA by Night and New York by Night live plays, this is the version of the game they're playing. There are new resources being pumped out for 5th with increasing regularity, and it's not going to remain the edition without all the other goodies forever. I'm just giving it slightly less focus, just because there's fewer caveats here than other places. But it's genuinely worth your time. If you want to run a Vampire or a Hunter game, this is definitely the place to look. Option 2. 20th Anniversary Editions. Before 5th edition, the edition of the land was WoD 20th Anniversary. These were released, get this, in celebration of WoD's 20th anniversary. They were essentially released for veteran players of the day, and as a result, they can be kinda rocky to learn at times. The idea being, you should already have a firm grasp of the concepts within. The lore has a slight tendency of being neither too referential to old material or just plain sparse, but it's the edition I started with, and I turned out alright, so I still highly recommend them. Most games enjoyed a pretty cool 20th anniversary release, and in my opinion, it's still the edition to run if you want crossover shenanigans. Compared to 5th edition, you'll likely be able to roll out with a comparatively more powerful character, but there's also a lot more jank. Balance isn't really at the heart of WoD, and it's just, not that kind of game, but it's a lot easier to break than 5th edition for damn sure. For better and for worse. It's not enough that I'd not recommend them to a newbie, but it is enough to warn about, so consider yourself warned. I just warned you. Despite these caveats, though, outside of the occasional weirdly worded subsystem, it's not like 20th Anniversary is a major downgrade. In fact, I know plenty of people who still prefer playing this edition to the newer ones, and I can't really blame them. Even for games with 5th editions, if you wanted to run a Vampire game where you're all elders and not snot-nosed neonates, fuck it, 20th ain't a bad choice. These editions are hideous, lumbering monsters. You'll notice I'm insulting them a lot. That's because I love them all. I don't own just one 700-page Mage 20th Core rulebook. I own 2, and one has a weird stain, and I don't know where it came from. 20th is also so accommodating that you can easily just take older supplements and quickly adapt or even straight up use their adventures, powers, merits, and flaws in your own game. Even if the content you're looking for is ancient, you can probably dig through any old WoD book and find something that can fit in your game with a few tweaks. My friend Odoroshi once ran the prehistoric crossover module Midnight Circus for our home group of 20th anniversary characters to great success, even though it was originally printed 2 months after my birth. Sure, a lot of the content aged poorly. A lot of the content aged poorly. But the underlying concepts and many of the characters and situations were fun and easy to translate to 20th parlance. The parts that didn't, well, our storyteller just filled in the gaps with her own original content. Got rid of the stuff she didn't like. It's not just modules either. Area splats, faction guides, hell, even some main game lines have languished in earlier editions. But it's all still accessible thanks to how adaptable the older storyteller system is. I mean, think about it. Before the D&D 5th edition reprint, could you imagine running classic Tomb of Horrors in the modern system? Well, you could with WoD. I mean, not Tomb of Horrors, but, you know, Evil Circus Hell and this crab thing. Anyway, the TLDR is this. If you want to play Werewolf, Mage, Changeling, or Wraith, or if you have a style of play that clashes with 5th's design philosophy, 20th is the spice you're looking for. Have fun. Option 3, Stygian Madness. Sadly, not all games got a 20th anniversary release. Some games have languished in their sordid states for eons with barely an errata in sight. They are few, but they are infamous. And some people really, really like them. Essentially, if you're looking to get a rousing game of Demon the Fallen or Mummy the Resurrection, you're going to be looking at old rules. Fortunately, these are going to be relatively self-contained and explicable within the language of their own text. WoD game lines be like that? I cannot advise much in this juncture, for I have rarely afforded myself such terror. I've used Demon the Fallen rules for NPCs in certain games, and it was universally a harrowing experience. It was like being submerged in the dim waters of the river Styx, and losing all that I am. That being said, the games have their cult followings for a reason. Be brave, play them, and have fun! But know that if it's your first time, it's probably a bad idea to start here. It won't be too challenging once you have a game under your belt, though. Option 4, Chronicles of Darkness. Oh boy, this one is... it's gonna take a hot second. Here's some history. Sometime during the run of WoD, the developers decided that enough had been done in the metaplots to warrant a global update. Modules were released for end-time scenarios for all game lines. You got to pick your favorite ending, and the idea was that they'd say goodbye to the setting forever. In its place came the new World of Darkness, now known as the Chronicles of Darkness. This is a completely different, confusing continuity that is extremely different from the old World of Darkness. In Chronicles of Darkness, you do not play Vampire the Masquerade. You play Vampire the Requiem. You do not play Changeling the Dreaming. You play Changeling the Lost. Confused yet? So am I. This isn't quite WoD. For Warhammer fans, think of WoD as fantasy and Chronicles as Age of Sigmar. For one, the rules and systems have been streamlined and optimized in a way that even 5th edition took notes from. For two, the world and game lines are similar but very distinct, with some real standouts. In particular, Hunter the Vigil is a very cool take on the Hunter experience. Whereas the older version of The Reckoning focused on supernaturally augmented imbued, Vigil focused on normal hunters, introduced numerous cool and creative hunter compacts, as well as the concept of becoming a slasher, a fucked up kind of hunter that went from being a slayer of the supernatural to a metaphysically augmented serial killer. H5 no longer focuses on the imbued, and I think that's because Hunter the Vigil just kicked so much ass. Changeling the Lost also gets its fair share of accolades. Changeling the Dreaming is well known to be somewhat inscrutable, difficult to understand, and a massive glowing orb of madness floating silently in the classic WoD catalog. Changeling the Lost simplifies the story a bit. Instead of playing as the Fae, you play as someone cursed by the Fae, which grants a very distinct play experience. It also makes the games radically different from each other, to the point where I'd almost warrant to say The Lost is just its own weird little thing. Chronicles is still getting updates, such as an actually living mummy game and several unique permutations like Deviant, Promethean, and Geist. If it tickles your fancy, it's not a bad idea to check out, but you should know that if you're looking for World of Darkness books, Chronicles is something different, so be aware. Now, all of these different ways to play may sound intimidating, but don't worry, there's even more. WoD Dark Ages, WoD Wild West, WoD of the Victorian Age, WoD's incredibly vibrant and legendary LARP scene. There's a lot! Fortunately, it's not all half as intimidating when you realize the base mechanics of World of Darkness are all incredibly simple. Better still, for all their sub-variants and additions and blah 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 blah, outside of the unique gimmicks for each supernatural subtype, the core mechanics deviate very little between the games. That's because every mainline book you aren't playing can serve an additional purpose as a bestiary. Your non-furry friends deny you the opportunity to run the werewolf game of your dreams? That's fine. Throw a mid-level Get a Fenris into their condominium and watch the fireworks. The sole exception, of course, is 5th, but even then it can be done. It's different, but not that radically different.
Part 5! Mechanics!
So how simple is it? Simpler than D&D, to be honest. The core mechanic of WoD is this. All editions utilize a simple D10-based dice pool system. D10s look like this, and character sheets look like this. At character creation, you decide which skills and attributes your character has by filling in the dots with the game's allotted budget. Dots represent how good you are at something. 1 dot is below average, 2 is average, 3 means you can make a career out of it, 4 means you can make a great career out of it, and 5 means that you're one of the best in the world. Someone with Strength 5, for instance, is one of the strongest people on the planet. Someone with Medicine 5 might be an internationally acclaimed neurosurgeon, whereas a med student might have Medicine 1 and a nurse Medicine 2. So, putting that into practice. This character has 3 dots of firearms and 3 dots of dexterity. They're a good shot, and they're fast to boot. Unfortunately, a blood-sucking freak of nature is running right at them, and they need to put those skills to good use. They need to roll to shoot that bastard into the Stone Age. When making a roll, you take a relevant attribute with the skill you're using, in this case dex and firearms, and count their combined dots. Then you just roll that many dice, and boom! You'll have a target number, usually 6s, and everything above that on the dice are successes. Tally your successes, and that's the result of your roll. In this roll, we got 3 dice hitting our target number, so we've got 3 successes. A direct hit! With rare exceptions, this is essentially how every action in the game is performed. Want to stab a guy? Dexterity plus melee. Want to not shit yourself on a first date? Charisma plus expression. Easy peasy. The advantages of this system are its ease of use and flexibility. Example. Firearms' typical function is to point guns in people's directions and pull the trigger, but if you wanted to field strip a gun, it's also what you use. You could also use it in an investigative sense. Perception plus firearms to determine what kind of gun scooped some poor victim's brains out. Hell, if the storyteller is feeling especially kind, you could probably use it in a social encounter too. Impress your fellow gun freaks by speaking enthusiastically of your rifle with charisma firearms. Alternatively, if you're about as intimidating as a baby capybara, as a last-second desperation ploy, perhaps you can scare off an encroaching foe with a sick display of gunmanship. Manipulation plus firearms. Roll high, or else you might catch a hollow point in the skull for your troubles. Are these combos the only combos you can use for such things? Absolutely not. Sometimes actions can actually be accomplished through multiple combinations of skills and attributes. For instance, a storyteller might allow you to field strip a firearm with the firearms, technology, or craft skills, but not all roles are equal. The storyteller may require more successes for roles they think are a stretch. I typically wouldn't disallow a Dr. PC to synthesize a drug using medicine, but I might make it easier if they used science, chemistry, or botany instead. Personally, I love letting my players get creative with skill use. It's the same reason why I encourage most PCs to have a few useless skills. Sure, your 2 dots in law might seem useless at first, but when the party face fails to convince that cop that you definitely 100% know nothing about the string of disappearances you've been causing, your Dark Horse law skill could be the difference between getting him to come back with a warrant and a prison arc. That's sort of the soul of what makes WoD, you know? It's got an incredibly easy to get into dice system that doesn't overly concern itself with mechanics load. It's not completely rules light, like Powered by the Apocalypse, but it's less hindered by exacting systems and, like, I don't know. Item carry weight. What can you carry? I don't know. What the storyteller thinks you can carry. If it beggars belief, make a check. Okay, you'll know how carrying all that weight affects you. A good, adaptable storyteller and a gaggle of creative miscreants can have a hell of a time telling their story using this system. And really, what more can you ask for?
Part 6. The end!
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's more. A lot more. Too much to willingly shove into one video. I could clobber you with tales of the spirited LARP scene, talk about all the incredibly poorly aged WoD supplements, like the Mafia book. Oh my god, Alpha loves the Mafia book. Next slide, get it away. Being honest, each WoD game line would take its own video to get into the gritty of them, the unique mechanics, themes, and other nuances. So, fuck it. If you want more videos breaking down individual WoD game lines, let us know in the comments. But for now, to avoid a deadly bloated mass, we'll wind down here. So, let's review. Step 0, play Bloodlines. Step 1, get a good group. Step 2, pick your game and edition. Step 3, pick a day, time, and place. And Step 4, start running. Do all these things, and the World of Darkness should open up to you. I love WoD. It's the most fun I've ever had rolling dice. I hope with this video and Hunter the Parenting, we've helped some folks get into this incredible game and community. And if we haven't...
Failure. Perhaps next time.
You have watched an Ogre Popenang video essay. Written and presented by Speaker D. Animated by Carl the Deranged, Garrett, Alpha Busa, and Dr. White. Script editing by Speaker D, Erndil, Alpha Busa, and Dr. White. Audio composition by Carl the Deranged and Alpha Busa. Audio mixing by Stringstorm. Music by Macker, Glowtide, Stringstorm, Carl the Deranged, and Vrinde. In-house art made by Nostalgia, Inktooth, Iron Iroko, Garrett, Eliphas, and Rude Rubicante. High-end male modeling performed by Speaker D. Mutilation of high-end male modeling performed by Erndil. Additional music sampled from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines original soundtrack by Rick Schaefer.
And Frederick Knudsen, you forgot to credit Frederick Knudsen when you were recording for the credits. How can you forget our boy?
Featuring original World of Darkness art by Alex Scheikman, Leif Jones, Michael Gatos, Guy Davis, Ron Spencer, Steve Prescott, David Leary, John Cobb, Jeff Lobenstein, Steve Ellis, Langdon Foss, John Van Fleet, Vince Locke, Tim Bradstreet, and many, many more. Please consider seeking out and supporting the extraordinary artists who create the lens by which we see our wonderful World of Darkness. Special thanks to Blessed for incurring the wrath of the Vargalak. Great job!
Wait, what?
An especially big thank you to all of the devious nightfolk on Patreon generously funding this endeavor. This includes Angus, Anthrax, Mango Grunt, Matthew McLeod, Meth, Banana Butt, Benel, Black and White TV, Boy, Blurry Face, Brave Beard, Brian Ross, a lot of B's. Well, that's okay, because we also have Opossum Sam, Paladin North, Peter Stellar, Portero, Koros, Corporate Shepherd, Dan, who could forget Dan, or the Taco Bomb, or DH, Diane Travis, Salsa Vermilion, L. King, Sindarin, Some Guy, Sover 1998, Gans, Gem de Philippis, Goblin, Griswell, The Hot Soup, The Servo Skull, The Master Meep, Tia Singer, Torbjorn Andreas Solberg, Jake O'Lantern, Jason, Jean-Luc Picard, Jesse Walker, Zorobit, Yog, Josh Tellum, and Zubarel. And a special thanks to our Avatar tier members, who, for a modest fee, will get portraits such as these before you. Look at that guy. That guy's like a flamingo. You want to fight about it? Oh. Portions of the materials are the copyrights and trademarks of Paradox Interactive AB and are used with permission. All rights reserved. For more information, please visit worldofdarkness.com.
Don't steal that broomstick, you fuck! Oh, you are going to have to go to jail for this, you fucker. Or you can pay with gold. What is it? Gold, eh? Well then, it's off to jail with you.
Vampire the Masquerade is a system I think doesn't require too much of an introduction. It's something that I believe at least everybody has heard of once before. It's pretty popular, especially in more nerdy circles, both with the game Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which you should go play, by the way. This game is actually fantastic. Can't say the same about the sequel from the trailers I've seen. And the fact that If the Empire Detects a Speech Device, the creator Alpha Busa went on to do Hunter the Parenting, which is set actually in the grander world of this, the World of Darkness, where Vampire the Masquerade is set. A grim, dark universe where all the supernatural is real, things that go bump in the night are there, and they're waiting around that corner for you to lower your guard. Lots of stuff exists in the World of Darkness. Other than just vampires, we have werewolves who are fighting a war that is completely unknown to literally everybody. Mages who can shape reality to their will and just do whatever they want, fighting against a threat that is kind of already won and has shaped the world we live in today. Wraiths that roam the underworld and military legions doing their best to avoid oblivion. Whatever the fuck the Fae are. Whatever they're doing up there. And the most based of all of them. Hearing about all of these supernatural creatures and deciding to kill them as a hunter. But in a cool way, not a sellout way, by being freelance and not joining a corporation. Which is, yeah, a legitimate thing with Hunter the Reckoning. That's very important. Also, this is important to say. I am in no way replacing 40k content. This is just going to be little extra things I toss in for flavor and just for fun. I like the World of Darkness too much. And I feel like a lot of people in the 40k community also would like World of Darkness. It's an addition. It's not a replacement. I'm still going to largely do 40k. That's my baby. That's the one I know the most about. But today it's all about vampires, which they're, yeah, vampires. You know, the sun will kill you. You need to drink blood to live. And you got some spooky dark powers. The fun with Vampire the Masquerade is, if you can think of a vampire type, there is a method to create that stereotype. We have everything here. Now, important thing for terminology, in this world, vampires are also, they are called vampires. It's interchangeable. They prefer the term kindred, or, depending on who you're talking to, Cainite, which is important, and I do mean that Cain, as in biblical Cain, who is the first vampire. Now, there are multiple sources, and obviously this is so fucking long ago that no one really knows the answer, where after killing his brother Abel, God cursed Cain to walk the earth forever, just a fugitive to the land. Any ground he tilled would not bear anything, which, yeah, if you open up your Bible, if you have that, go to Genesis, you could read this. It kind of sounds like vampirism a little bit, think about it. But if you trust the in-universe Bible, the Book of Nod, it details this a little more, if they're correct, which is after he killed Abel and God told him off, he went over, met the first woman, Lilith, and they got together. He did a funny little dark ritual, drank her blood, and was then approached by 3 angels, Michael, Raphael, and Uriel, who all gave him the option. Do you want to repent for killing your brother? He, for whatever reason, said no. And then they cursed him. Of these curses, Michael cursed him, that cool flaming sword he has. Vampires are going to extra die by it. Raphael cursed him by saying, the sun will have the same effect as Michael's sword. And Uriel cursed him by forcing him to forever live in the dark. Food will turn to ash on his tongue. He needs to drink blood to survive. His body is frozen at the moment he turns into a vampire and dies. And anything he builds will fall. Vampires can't do anything of substance like humans can. Which, I gotta say, what an unfair fucking workload Heaven has. Like, damn, in this heavenly group project, Uriel did everything. Instead of just, no more sword, no more sun. Come on, be fair, guys. But now, as the first vampire, he went out and he founded the first city of Enoch, where he would expand his empire as the Dark King. He would make some more vampires, these being the second generation vampires, those directly spawned from Cain himself, his childer, which is the other in-universe term for, what it is when a vampire makes another vampire. The first one is the sire, the one they make is a childer. If I'm pronouncing that right, I don't fucking know. And then those ones went on to make the Antediluvians, which is third generation, a name that literally translates to before the flood. Because, yeah, spoilers, God sent the flood to kill the vampires. That was the real reason. Enoch got flooded and destroyed and is now in the afterlife, like in the Umbra. It's down there somewhere. To where Cain survived because he went into hiding. The second generation vampires did not survive. Not from the flood, but from all the antediluvians pulling a peak vampire move and killed all of them. To where Cain, pretty fucking pissed and very powerful, cursed all of them, where their bloodlines would be cursed in some way, usually reflecting on the person it was, each one getting a fun ironic twist, which will come later when I get into the clans near the end of this video. Now, as you can tell, the generational thing, that's very important, because the lower your generation number, the stronger you are. Because Cain is goofy fucking strong. I cannot put this in relation. Even worse, the ones we actually have some relative level of like seeing what they're capable of, the Antediluvians are terrifying. They're incomprehensibly strong. So as it goes down, they get weaker and weaker and weaker. So most likely, you are going to be playing around a like 12th generation vampire, give or take a few, which is pretty solid. You're a vampire, you know, you need to drink blood. You can rip a dude in half just really easily. You could throw a car. You're a vampire. Then it gets a little worse if you're farther down, if you're what's known as a thin blood, where you're a 15th or 16th generation vampire, where you're basically like a person, but if you worked out a lot, like you're Olympic level athlete, you're still tough, you can live pretty long, but also like you can kind of go out in sunlight. You can feed on people, you do need to, but also like you can access some of the powers known as disciplines, by the way, which these disciplines, there's a good few number of them. This is all your vampire powers. You know, like your celerity to go real fast, obfuscate to disappear, dominate to mentally command people. It's all that. If you can think of an ability in fiction a vampire's had, it is somewhere in these disciplines, which again, each clan has a different access to, which again, I'll get to later. And then as well, an important caveat here, another thing you as a vampire will have to deal with is the beast. Inside of every vampire is almost like this unconscious predator instinct inside of you. Maybe even like a little demonic in a way. It constantly is there in the back of your mind. It is a constant presence in your unlife as a kindred. It is always there whenever you're drinking blood to go a little more. Drink a little more blood. What does it matter if this guy's drained to completely dead? You're a vampire. Because a big thing in the actual game that comes out in just how it is managing your humanity. Because as your humanity falls, the worse of a person you are, and to the point where you become more monstrous. The farther you go down the humanity tracker, it legitimately changes your character, be more monstrous, to treat humans worse. And the higher up you go, you can actually, like if you get to max humanity 10, you could pass as a human a good chunk of the time. Dealing with that balance is very important in your life, and the beast comes up individually, again for every clan, I'll get to it later. But for every clan, they're all allied with someone, because there are three important factions I want to talk about here. The first one is one that really comes up often, that is the Camarilla. The Camarilla is like the main governing body of vampire society. At least they're trying to be. Now, one of the big things the Camarilla put in place and really enforces is what is known as the Masquerade. Something so important, it's literally in the fucking name of the thing. The Masquerade is a very simple concept. Do not let humans know we exist. Because, you know, vampires are strong. They're goofy powerful. Especially the elders and the lower generation vampires, they are very tough. They can deal with a lot of things. But you get hundreds of humans all shooting you. Eventually, your regeneration's not going to help and you're going to face your final death. So, it's easier. That and the fact of the Inquisition coming around. Because the big thing they're dealing with is the Second Inquisition, which is a really concentrated effort by some people who know vampires are a thing to kill them. Which also, fun fact, this is a random larger World of Darkness thing. The Second Inquisition in Vampire is always talked about like this really codified group and organization. It's not. The Second Generation is them putting this larger enemy face on what is essentially like hundreds of disparate factions, all achieving the same goal of fuck these vampires, let's burn them. So all the hunters you play in like Hunter the Reckoning, those are part of the, part of the Second Inquisition. But the Masquerade is super important for that reason, and they enforce it heavily. Say for example, you as a vampire start, fucking around. You biting people in public, you're using your powers just willy-nilly. You're gonna get cracked down on quick. Vampire society is very quick to self-police itself because of how dangerous it is to just go around doing this. And an offending vampire who breaches the Masquerade is gonna very, very soon learn what the sun looks like. Most likely strapped down to a chair as they watch the sunrise. But the Camarilla functions as a feudalistic society, which hails back to around its origin point, around like medieval Europe. So like feudal England and all that, that is the inspiration for the Camarilla. They all operate in this aspect. There's a core prince who rules every domain, and everyone else kind of answers to the prince, works for him, pays tribute, all that classic stuff. The prince is a very vied-for position that has a lot of politicking. Vampires are schemy little bastards. They're constantly talking around, dicking each other over, backstabbing to try and hopefully get this position of prince. If you're not elected to it, you become prince. You are worthy of it. Or a lot of times you put a scheme in such strong power that the prince is dead by your hands or disgraced. completely in exile. And for these domains, it ranges in size. A pretty easy way to know is just any major city is most likely a Camarilla domain. There are a couple exceptions with the other factions. Places like Seattle, Detroit, New York, London, all of them have a prince, all of them are with the Camarilla. But you know what cities I didn't mention when I was naming those? Any in California, because that is controlled by the Anarchs. Now, the Anarch movement is an older thing. It's been around for a good few hundred years. The Anarchs reject the method of the Camarilla, and they reject this whole respecting your elders thing. This is a group of younger vampires who got really fed up with the fact that their elders were just doing whatever the fuck they wanted because they were more important, more powerful. Specifically during the Spanish Inquisition, they were just giving up their neophytes, like their younger vampires, just to save their own hides, to get some monetary benefit, to do something, just giving them to the Inquisition. They thought this was cringe, because it's fucking so lame to do. The Anarchs then rebelled against Camarilla and kind of do their own thing. They're not super organized, at least they don't want to tell you that. They'll say they're not organized, but they have some elements that are still like the Camarilla. In fact, their version of a prince is called a baron, who might not be as controlling as a prince, but still there. And as well, it's actually not a one-person role. There are actually gonna be multiple barons in the same area. It just depends how much they get along, because, they can be like buddies, both controlling half of the city, or they could be fierce rivals and do a lot of dicking each other over, because again, they're still vampires. And then the third faction, coming out of the same Anarch revolt that happened, these are the terrorists, the Sabbat. The Sabbat are a lot more aggressive with their beliefs and their systems, in the fact that they believe that humanity deserves to be controlled and subjugated and worked as cattle. And you know the whole thing I've been mentioning with Cain and the Antediluvians? The Camarilla deny their existence. They firmly do not want you talking about it. They don't want you dealing with all that old history shit. A key reason is a little thing known as Gehenna, which Gehenna is vampire apocalypse. It is the larger apocalypse myth that has a lot of prophecies surrounding when Gehenna is going to happen. A lot of those prophecies coming true in modern day World of Darkness. So it's kind of better to keep it under wraps, because the Camarilla noticed vampires get really anxious and nervous and twitchy around the idea of Gehenna coming up, mainly because it's, Cain could come back, and he's gonna be hungry. He's gonna want to eat some of his kids. You can see this in the Sabbat. The Sabbat believe themselves to be the sword of Cain himself. When Cain returns, when Gehenna, they're going to be his military might. So far that the Sabbat also are pretty prone to joining or starting doomsday cults to make Gehenna happen. However, I will still say, they do respect the masquerade. Same with the Anarchs. Everyone respects it. Because, you might have this larger goal of killing everyone with Cain, but that doesn't stop the fact that if humans know you exist, you're dead. And then lastly, the fun bit, let's talk about the clans. Now, the clans are basically your class when it comes to playing vampire, as each clan is your lineage, your bloodline. Each clan has its own benefits and downsides. You get access to some cool powers based on who they are. You also get, specifically, a compulsion and a bane. A compulsion is something that your beast nags at you the whole time. It's some innate feeling that you just kind of have to play along with, or when you're at your worst, going into a frenzy, hunger-induced, or extreme fight or flight, it kicks off. And then as well, your bane, which is that funny little curse I was mentioning, because vampirism is not without its problems. It might seem like a net upgrade, but God, there's some banes that are rough to deal with. But I am just going to go through them alphabetical order. I do plan later to make actual videos in each clan. There's a lot more to get into. There's also extra shit, because I can go into bloodlines, which has to do with people who broke away from clans, or mixing the blood of some clans. And then there's anti-tribu clans, which are like anti-clans. I'm saying that word a lot, but that's also a really big simplification, but fuck, okay. I'm just gonna get into the main 13 that are accessible, mainly sourced from the 20th anniversary release of VTM. First up, one of my favorite clans, genuinely, is Clan Banu Hakim. They are very cool. They are like assassin mercenaries who are very isolationist. They do their own thing. They're not super allied with anybody, but they'll do some work if you need it. And they're, yeah, essentially like assassins with some fun little blood sorcery that they can perform. And also they have this very innate feeling of wanting justice. They enforce the law. They're like police officers or mercenaries, that kind of deal. Mainly because it's dealing with their compulsion, which their compulsion is to punish wrongdoers. If they see somebody really just acting a fool, they want to drink them. It is made worse with the fact that their bane is a blood addiction. When they drink in somebody, it's really hard to stop. Now, an important detail with this, another larger lore point, is the fact that in VTM, if you drink a vampire dry, that is known as diablerie. It is a big crime according to the Camarilla, because it's essentially vampire cannibalism as you're drinking a vampire's soul, which in fact actually lowers your generation. Your blood is going to get stronger by doing this. And the big issue with the Banu Hakim, importantly, is the fact that what are the worst wrongdoers in life than the fucking vampires, who are all monsters in some aspect. They're all not good people. So, it leads to some issues. Then Clan Bruja, who are rebels without a cause, or at least a new one every week. As these are all like violent rebels, political activists, very tough crowds. These are the ones who will beat your face in with like a lead pipe, and it's way stronger because it's coming from a vampire. And they're real rebellious. They don't like anyone talking over them. They don't like anyone controlling them. They fucking hate it. Because that's basing into their compulsion is the fact that they need to rebel. They need to go against the status quo. Now that doesn't mean that they're always fighting for a good cause. Because a lot of times this is like, yeah, they might attend like, you know, climate change rallies, actual positive things in the world. Or they could just be a neo-Nazi because that's breaking the status quo. They don't fully care about the cause. They just need a cause to fight for. And yeah, and their bane is they just go batshit. They're really aggressive. They're very prone to just beat your fucking face in. And Clan Gangrel, the outsider clan. Now, vampires like to live in cities because there's some spooky fucking things in the woods, like werewolves. Don't tangle with werewolves. But Clan Gangrel likes to kind of stick more to the outskirts, or at least more nature-y aspects. They have a lot in common with animals. In fact, they actually have some benefits to drink animals. They do a lot more hunting. They take on these kind of more animalistic traits. Their powers in specific, they can even assume like animal shapes to fight things better. Even more fun, there's actually a specific bloodline where vampires don't need to breathe at all. They don't need to use their lungs. They don't need air. So there's a lot of gangrel that live in the sea who are aquatic and take on aquatic features and live underwater. So a lot of like monster attacks, sea creatures, all that stuff, those are misattributed gangrel attacks. This animalistic nature comes out in their compulsion, where if they're in a moment of crisis, they'll revert more to acting animalistic, kind of going full caveman with like one-word sentences and grunts. And even worse, if they go full frenzy, they're going to take on some animal property, be it a physical thing, like they'll get a dog nose, maybe some sharper ears, a little furrier, or they'll get like a tick, like some sort of animalistic behavior, or they'll just smell like a wet dog the whole day. At least it only lasts a day for them, so it's like a hangover, you know? Then we got Clan Hakata, which is like, it's kind of an amalgam. So there were a lot of clans that specifically dealt with the main concept of necromancy, or just corpses in general, where they took in some clans like Giovanni and Cappadocian, where they all became like one larger group. Now, there's a lot of differing, I guess, effects from this, because it's not going to erase all the previous like traits from them. Because like, for example, some of the other clans they took in, the Samiti, they actually had the full appearance of corpses, like they were legitimately rotting as they were alive, unalive vampires. And the Nagaraja, who didn't drink blood, but they just ate your flesh, and that did the same thing. So it's a big amalgamation of all that. And as well, for their compulsion, they have a fucking goofy one. They are morbidly curious in the idea that they have to just investigate death. So they need to know how you're going to die, if you're ill of something, if there's a specific weakness you hold, they need to know. They're creepy and weird. And then their bane, when it comes to it too, they have a really painful kiss. Now the kiss is what is known as, you know, when you're biting somebody's neck and drinking their blood. Normally, it's pretty painless. In fact, it feels fucking great. So, you know, it's easy to do. And then you can like lick the wound and it's gone. For Clan Hakata, it's very painful. So good luck stealth biting somebody. Then this is Clan La Sombra, the self-appointed like dark nobility. They're all like creepy shadow vampires with spooky dark magics, and they're all kind of dickheads, not gonna lie. Their compulsion is the fact that they're all, like, ruthless. They just suck. They don't like humanity. They think humanity is beneath them. There's a thing in VTM called ghouls, which is where you feed your blood to a human. It kind of enforces the blood bond. Which blood bond is the idea of making someone your thrall. You have somebody drink your blood. They're psychically connected to you in the fact that they're subservient, in the fact that it makes it hard for them to even tell you no. To a human, blood is like the most ridiculous high. It is insanely addictive, heals a lot of your issues, makes you physically stronger. It's a great thing to have. They really don't like ghouls, but they kind of need them because of the specific issue they have with their bane. These guys don't have reflections, or at least their reflections really fucked up because their part of their soul is in the Umbra, so it's kind of gross and weird. Like, it's kind of staticky. If you take a picture of Lusombra, it's all like blurry and like pixelated and weird. Same with cameras or just mirrors. They can't make out their appearance, so they need people to look at their appearance and tell them if they look good or not. They don't like this. Or even worse, if they're trying to like stealth through a building with automated defenses and security, they have a chance to just trigger it because their frequency is wrong. And yeah, they also, a lot of them are with the Sabbat because of their opinions on humanity, kind of aligned. And Clan Malkavian, which is my actual favorite clan. I'm currently playing Malkavian. It's a great time. So Malkavians are insane. They are madmen. And also kind of pranksters. They fuck around a lot. So Malkavians are dangerous in the fact that they feel very unpredictable to a lot of people. However, they're all psychically linked with each other. They have the Malkavian Madness Network. So like every single Malkavian is mentally linked in some way to a larger hive mind. In the fact that it's also theorized that their antediluvian, who created their clan, Malkav, is the hive mind. He died, but didn't really. Now he's living in every single Malkavian, to where they can hear the random thoughts of other like vampires across the city, but it's also filtered through the mind of someone who has some form of mental disorder. This can range from a lot of things, but also the fact that they are like that vibe of the fortune teller that no one believes, or they can give out like dark portents for the future that are completely true, but it's in some weird poetic script, so you can't really understand it, or it's littered between falsehoods and just actual insanity. In their compulsion, when they're really hungry, they actually get a full like trigger of these visions that are either true or completely made up. And then yeah, their bane is that they have some form of mental illness. Every person had a predilection for one, and then they get it amplified. Now there's an important fact here about Malkavians. In older editions, this wasn't handled super great because, you know, older tabletop made in the 90s. There's a real easy tendency to make Malkavians a really gross example of mental illness and mental disorders. To like sensationalize it, make it dramatized, infantilize it, a lot of gross stuff. So I would not recommend playing a Malkavian unless you know what you're doing as a role player and know how to be sensitive with that, because I don't know, man, you can just be really fucking lame about it. It's not here to trivialize mental disorders. Like, they're currently doing it very well. 20th anniversary and the 5th edition VTM, Malkavians are handled great. So just don't fuck it up. Then we have Clan Ministry, formerly known as the followers of Set, as in like Set, the Egyptian god, who they believe is their antediluvian. They kind of worship the Egyptian god Set. And they're really, really religiously into sinning. They believe sinning is their lot, as they can sin so others don't. A weird twisted way to do it, but they're involved in a lot of really fucked up shady businesses like drug pushing, pimping, like pornography, a lot of gross industries they're involved in, and they like to pull people into it, which is their compulsion. They like to corrupt people. They like to tempt you to sin. Dealing with one of the followers of Set is like making a devil deal. You don't want to shake their hand on something. And as well, because of the shady nature, they really don't like the light, be it the sun, which actually kills them faster, or if you just like shine a flashlight in one of their eyes, they'll immediately recoil and like get stunned. Clan Nosferatu, which is a clan that is cursed with its disfigurement, as their antediluvian was a real fucking piece of shit, like an absolute psychopath, but hot, super hot. So Cain cursed him to make him look like his soul. And this isn't just like, oh, that guy's kind of gross to look at. It is, oh my god, that's a monster with complete horrific mutations that fuck you up. To some aspect where you can like kind of get by as like, that guy's a little disfigured, to the point of it hurts to exist and move. It varies. So a big problem with the Nosferatu is being seen is a masquerade violation.
Uh-oh.
So they are very, very sneaky. Luckily, they're masters at this. They're all around unseen in the fact that they know which plays into their compulsion. They need to know secrets. They have an obsession with learning secrets and information that is being hidden from them. So they have a massive information network. Master hackers, like thieves, all of that. You hire a Nosferatu to get some information
Oh,
on
I'm gonna go
a rival,
piss. Be right
oh,
back.
he's gonna get it. But there's also a chance
Watch
that
it,
all
dummy.
your shit is being uncovered at the same time, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. Just don't cross the Nosferatu. It's a bad idea. Then we have Clan Ravnos, another clan I really like. They're actually very cool, with a gross history. So again, written in the 90s, a little ish. So these were originally written as very lame representations of Romani people. Like kind of, it's a little weird. Okay, it's not that anymore. They're now a lot of nomadic, like daredevils. They specifically actually take people who will do that, like full-on daredevils, don't feel fear, all of that. Adrenaline junkies. Because they're just really extra. With their compulsion, they want to do things dangerous. You make a plan with a Ravnos, they want to take the direct and very flashy approach. Might get them, like, killed, again. Might lead to some horrible danger, but they'll look fucking good doing it. And their Bane plays into this in the idea that they cannot sleep in the same location for more than a day. They sleep somewhere, they have to at least travel like a mile or two away from that. Or, if they sleep, there's a chance that they'll feel the sun from inside of their blood burn them alive. Because they're antediluvian, who is a whole thing. I'm not going to go super deep into the Week of Nightmares in 1999. There's a lot going on. Their antediluvian woke up in India, fucked up a lot of things, killed a lot of people. A lot of Quasian were murdered. It required a lot of other like powerful vampires to take them down. And also the mages with sunlight orbital laser beams. And then soul nukes were set off in the Umbra. It is a whole fucking thing. But 1999 is a very important year in the world of darkness. So yeah, don't sleep in the same spot, I guess, for more than a day. Clan Toreador, who are the hot vampires, which is the best way to describe them.
Sorry.
They love things that are hot, and they themselves smoking. Their point, and honestly, is what's the point of this immortality if they can't enjoy themselves? So they give themselves into pleasure and sensations and a lot of that. They want to surround themselves with art and beautiful things, dress fine, they love art. Vampires, though, cannot really make anything. Once they get old enough, they kind of lose that connection to humanity. So a lot of them are more patron to the arts. They adopt some fucking artists to just make them shit, or a lot of Toreador are actually working in Hollywood as like movie producers. And it gets a little harder sometimes for them because they get really fixated on one thing. This is like their compulsion. They get obsessed with either just like a song they hear, a painting, a person, which is an issue if they get really obsessed with a hot person, love bomb them, and then leave. You know, they can be a little abusive like that. And then on the other side, their bane is they need these beautiful things to live. If they're in an ugly environment, they cannot deal. It hurts to exist for them. It's just hard to focus because this area is so gross and icky. I want to be in my nice penthouse. Then Clan Tremere, who weren't always vampires. They actually are one of the youngest clans because they straight up stole vampirism. They used to be mages, as in mages from the mage system, where they found a spell for immortality. The dude who found this out, Tremere, did the spell, fully drank a powerful vampire dry, and boom, then you have Clan Tremere. But the issue is a big thing when it comes to mages is they need their avatar to do magic, and becoming one of the children of the night kind of rips you from your avatar. So they don't got magic anymore, but they have blood sorcery. So the idea where, you know, if they really wanted to, they wave their hand, your blood is boiling. And their personality, they're still fucking wizards. So their compulsion is that of perfectionism. They need to do everything perfect, everything correctly. It has to be done to the best it can be done. They strive for nothing. Failure is not an option. And in their bane, specifically when I was getting into blood bonding, Clan Tremere has a very strict hierarchy, known as the pyramid. It's very important. This got fucked up because this was all held in the fact of the blood bond, which used to be really easy for them to do the blood bond. It's now impossible. So their hierarchy has to be held in line a little differently. Then we have Clan Temiski, which is fucking terrifying, man. Okay, so these are very much in the style of like the Eastern European terrifying vampires. Like for example, a member of their ranks, Dracula, the Dracula, Vlad the Impaler. That was the Temiski. They're all really old. They're all like creepy gothic, live in castles, terrifying and eldritch because they're also flesh changers. They really want to. They can go, huh, you know, it'd be funny if your bones went that way and then rearrange your bones. And they're sadistic pieces of shit. They all have this face of kindness because they're like, hospitality is very important. Oh, let's be polite. And then they're torturing somebody the entire time and then laugh at you if you claim that they're monsters or sadistic and then offer to show you what true evil looks like because they think it's funny. Because you're thinking on a human perspective, not a vampire perspective. They're higher than that. And to lay into this old, like, Dark King kind of style, this whole royalty thing, which is much harder in the modern age where it's not really a thing anymore. They want a hoard thing. They see something nice and shiny, they want it. They want to keep it and possess it. And in their Bane, actually that old, like, vampire thing of their coffins filled with dirt, the dirt of their specific, like, burial site. That's them, because they need to be surrounded by something familiar to their past life. This doesn't need to be dirt, it can commonly be that. They could sleep, maybe like own a company, or a big CEO, and they sleep in their office as all of their employees work, because they're with those people, that counts. And then lastly, Clan Ventrue, who are the aristocrats. The rich vampires largely work with Camarilla. They're like the biggest pick for the Camarilla, mainly because they're all like leaders and rich people, CEOs, bankers, fucking politicians. A lot of them are Ventrue. And they work with this because they truly believe only they know what is right for society. They know how to rule, they know how to lead, to the point where they're so arrogant with their compulsion that they literally cannot deal with taking orders. They have to be the one in charge. They have to be the one telling people what to do, delegating. They have to. It's important for them. Whole heart. They're arrogant assholes. And again, like, it's harder to be like this because in the modern world, there's not like aristocracy. There's no nobility. There's no royals. It's all money, which actually lays into the becoming a Ventrue is actually a really long application process. Like, you're being fully interviewed for the position and you don't even know it. You might think, oh, I'm getting this like nice high-powered job. It's kind of weird this guy only talks to me at night. It's a bit weird. Seems a little fun, a little pale, but whatever. And then boom, you're a Ventrue. And also, for their Bane, they need a specific style of blood. So, you know, they're too rich for all this standard peasant blood. They can't just drink whoever's walking down. They have to have a very specific flavor that is rare. Be it like the blood of alcoholics, blood of only twins, someone with blonde hair, natural blonde hair. They need something uncommon. It takes a lot more work to get that vintage wine blood in this case. And yeah, that's a quick overview of Vampire the Masquerade. And I plan to go more in detail with all of these. I also plan to do more stuff when it comes to World of Darkness. I really like the World of Darkness. I think it's a really fun world. I want to cover more stuff because I'm learning a lot about it. And I guess, like, real quick, for anyone who's gotten this far in the video, if you're gonna ask this question, I'm not the guy who can really tell you what edition to play. The two current editions of Vampire the Masquerade are the 20th anniversary and 5th edition. I would recommend 5th edition if you're going more like smaller scale, living in a vampire society as a low-level person. 20th anniversary is a lot more chunk to it, a lot more rules to be higher up, so I don't know. I think the 20th anniversary is very, very cool though. 5e is solid. It's also the only one I've played. So yeah, that's gonna wrap this up. Like this, like, comment, subscribe, that stuff. Do a membership, and see ya.
With chapter 1165 of the One Piece manga seemingly being the last chapter of God Valley, I think that it's time for a full agenda overview, because many, and I mean many, agendas have either been smashed into pieces or have been boosted drastically by the event. So, strap in because I'm about to get real in depth with this agenda overview. But before I do get into the video, if you guys don't enjoy content like this, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe, as I do post content like this regularly. And to be honest, it's a win-win. You guys show me love and support, and I give back to you in the form of videos. Whether it's One Piece, other anime, or just fiction in general, in due time I'm covering it. So be there when I go there. But I feel like I've rambled on long enough. So why don't I jump straight into the God Valley agenda overview. Now, as this is technically the first time I've worded the agenda overview like this, I'm going to basically explain what it is. Now, if you've been a long time fan or you've gone back to watch some of my old videos, I've done this already in the past. Remember when I was going through like the different agendas inside of One Piece and was covering them? Yeah, basically I'm going to do that, but this time I'm actually going to go over how they may have fallen or how they may have been boosted by God Valley. And so I think by the end of the overview, you guys should know who has been positively impacted by this and who has been negatively impacted by this. Alright, you got it? Cool. Let's hop into the video. Okay, so to begin it, I'm going to start off with something light, and that is Dragon. Now, Dragon's agenda hasn't really been impacted too much here. Why? Because he was a kid here. Literally, he was 17. That's even younger than me, and I'm young, contrary to what many of you believe. Now, knowing that he was the one that got Shanks out of danger, I'd say this does increase his stocks by a tiny bit, and if the chapter is out by the time I am done editing, or I'm nearly done, I will be able to put in a panel of where apparently he ups the fire on one of his superiors. Now, you don't tell me that's not aura, but either way, I'll have to see for the actual chapter, because you know how you could be lying sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, yeah, I'd say his stocks were increased by a little margin. You could say a big margin actually, because without Shanks, I'd say his stocks did get increased quite a bit. Moving on though, we're gonna talk about Eustace Kid and Captain John. Now, yeah, I know Kid didn't appear here, but Captain John has his devil fruit, and the moment that the devil fruit was shown was the moment that everybody was like, oh, Kid upscale. Oh, you thought, nigga, you thought. Now, for a moment, there was like Captain John has aura, because he used to talk to Rocks a lot, and he was like, it seemed like he was up there with being one of the people that he used to converse with a lot, until God Valley happened and people realized that he may not be him. Why? Because he was shown to use Kid's devil fruit like once and then got blown up by Snot. Yeah, Kid ain't ever coming back, bro. That stocks it down. Okay, moving on, we're actually gonna get into some real people now. And the first person I want to talk about is Big Mom. Now, Big Mom, she did what she needed to do. Like, she didn't do anything too crazy. Obviously, yes, she did attack Emu, but it's about it. Got snuck by Kaido. Obviously, wasn't down for long. It was a sneak attack, and she wasn't down for long. Obviously, he didn't use any like competent haki. He just wanted to just knock her about. There wasn't anything here for Big Mom. Like, there is a massive argument to her stocks being up a little bit because she's stuck by Rocks, but I don't think that's anything too crazy. So yeah, stocks increased by like 0.5%, I guess. I mean, you gotta give Big Mom fam something. Oh no. No, I feel like I've gotten all the little people out of the way. Oh no, wait, hold on, wait, the Shiki, yeah, you didn't really do too much either. That's why I forgot about you. He kind of did what he needed to do here. There's not like the people that I mentioned so far don't really change much about God Valley, but the next people I'm gonna get into, we have some conversations to have. Now, the first big one up is Kaido, and Kaido surprised me with how he got his devil fruit and 4 Emu. And the thing is with Kaido is that the more you hear him talk, well, not in the flashback, the more you heard him talk on Wano, it kind of makes me seem dumb, because it's like, bro, you said like Roger took down the, like, okay, right, look, we was obviously saying how he was talking about the world, and Rocks called Emu the world, and was like, Roger did it alone. No. You know, look, if you're gonna clip and ship any part of this video, clip and ship this part. Kaido thinks like Yonko fans. You know how he just scrubbed out Garp Yeah, that's the exact same thing like Yonko fans decided to do, to scrub out Garp like he doesn't exist. Kaido does that. He thinks like a Yonko fan. I mean, he did it by himself. Nigga, no, he didn't. Now, yeah, Kaido, yeah, he went into bang with Garp at any point, and even if he did lose to Rock or kind of get one strike, he was still there. So, you know, Kaido stocks went up a little bit. I say in like present day, kind of went down, because the more you hear him talk, the more it's like it makes no sense. But go give him his credit where credit is due. He did some surprising things and was kind of funny here. Like as an agenda overall, the Kaido agenda was definitely boosted, as he was one of the people to just stay with Rocks and be there for him. Moving on though, we have Sengoku. Now Sengoku wasn't here, but guess what? There is still time for me to talk about this bum bitch bubbling ass nigga. Now let's have a little conversation. Now technically in the end, was Sengoku right? Got Roger fought Rocks, and then God Valley was then eviscerated. Yeah, to a certain extent he was right, but the way he, you know what? The reason his stocks are down is because he didn't go. I think that's why I want to leave it at for now. Because technically he was right, and I'm somebody that's fair. If you're right in some degree, I'll give you credit. Because technically that did happen. Although it wasn't the way he explained it, it was just Rocks going there to be evil, but no, I still fuck him though. I like, as I said before, I will never ever like him again. Stocks is still down, heavily down, but he was right in some regard, a little bit, just a wee bit. Now I know I said I'm getting to the real interesting people before, but now I'm actually getting to the people that really do matter. And wait, hold on, no. There's still like a little duo that I'm gonna have to talk about, and that is Rayleigh and Gabon. Now, yeah, Rayleigh, yeah, okay, Summers, yeah, got Shaki, yeah, he didn't really do much. Neither did Gabon. Both of them were trolling here, like they were trolling, bro. They came on this island and came in for treasure, literally, because you know, Shaki was classed as, yeah, they were trolling here, bro. Like they were straight trolling. They did nothing. Their stocks didn't go up or down. They was just doing things. Gabon was trolling Roger and other people, and Rayleigh, he's Rayleigh, he doesn't do much, he sucks. Oh, okay, now we're actually officially done with all the mid people, all the people that kind of did something but didn't do too much. Now we're going to talk about the people that actually made an impact on God Valley, and starting off, we are going to talk about Roger and Gar. Now the reason I want to talk about these two is because one of them, I believe, in my eyes, didn't really do much. Like, yeah, he was there, but stocks wise, I mean, this is what we expected, but I feel really no home, gonna start gassing Garp. Hey boy. Now look, have I always been a Garp truther? Okay, look, the only thing I wasn't truthing about was him having Conqueror Haki, because I thought the power of love was something else, but you know how that then turns on. Like, I'm somebody that will say that I was truthing, and then I'll say when I wasn't truthing. Like, I will be there to say that. But I always knew he was this strong. It made zero sense for him to be weaker than Roger when we already knew that he was equal to Roger. I mean, the story had been saying that the whole entire time. To me, I always just viewed it as, that is Luffy's grandfather. He is the hero. He is the one that everybody looks to. Why would he be weak? And this flashback proved it. I say flashback because even when he fought Roger the first time, it was shown like, yeah, no, he is him. And then ever since Hachinosu, he has been that guy. And let's be real, some of the community thought that the old feats were just fake, and for that Shiryu, no, Shiryu, realistically speaking, Shiryu didn't do much. He didn't. He realistically didn't. And I do believe that if God really wanted to, he could have gone off of Hachinosu. That's a little thing that I do think at the back of my head. I really think that he could have gone off of Hachinosu, but he just decided not to. Actually, no, I don't. Kusama was ever a discussion for another day. But in the God Valley, his stocks went up. Chasing down Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido, even though it was situational, that's still aura. Laughing off Big Mom's attack and saying that you need more. Do you know how much? Oh. Listen. It's the fact that he went from somebody that the community thought for some reason was Virgo level. I ain't gonna say who said that. King of Lightning, Low's cousin. Nah. Okay, that's a bit too much, ain't it? But not for real though, like God was banging. And if the chapter's out once more, I'm going to put the pin up on the page, and if these translations are correct, then you're going to see what he is saying. He said to Roger that your physical strength ain't there, boy. Like, yeah, you're swinging that sword, but the physical strength. Do you understand the level of aura you need to have to just say that? Just be like, nah, yeah, you're banging, but you ain't banging like me. That sword ain't enough. He said your lethality, yeah, that sword's lethality ain't enough. Hey, if that doesn't say that Garth was stronger than Roger at the time, then I don't know what to say. And that does buff other stocks secretly, like Kobe's and Guzman's. But that's besides the point. We as a community need to have a discussion on that another time. So yeah, Roger's stocks went up a little bit. I'd even argue stayed the exact same, but Garp's, if you invested ages ago, then yeah, you really him right now. Moving on though, we have Whitebeard. Now Whitebeard, see the thing is that everybody's been talking about Roger, God, Rocks. Nah, Whitebeard as well needs to be put in those discussions as well, because on 2 occasions was he holding back 2 people that the community believes are the strongest. And you could say that this also does increase the aura of Garp. Obviously, yeah, it does, but there was situational stuff behind that. But with Whitebeard running away, a lot of people thought that, oh no, like he isn't that strong at this point. No, never. Because in the exact same chapter, I think he went and held back Roger, and then on top of that, he's then holding back demonic rocks with one hand. Had to cut myself off, and it's really like you need to really deep that. No niggy nothing, like just straight raw fist. And he's not the GOAT. If it's Roxton and Skyrocket, I've always been a Whitebeard truther. I think a lot of people with brains have been Whitebeard truthers. But if you don't want to truth Whitebeard, like if you don't believe him at this point, then I'm not gonna lie. Stop reading the series, nigga. Nah, I've been talking so good about these people, like so good. But one person we do need to have a conversation about is Garling. And you know what? I'm not even just gonna keep it to Garling. I'm keeping it to the Holy Knights as a whole. Now, Garling and the Holy Knights. The shit, like, I feel like I'm Emu right now, talking down to like this, like I feel like a boss right now talking to like the people that work on, like, bro, what were you doing out there? Like, you niggas really went out there and did nothing with your life. Like, let's really sit back and observe this. Garling, what were you doing? Okay, look. See, the thing is that, yeah, okay, cool, it's rocks. I get it. But you had your goons there. You had a whole army, and you had your sword in you by the end of the... My nigga, how are you that trash? And the woman that was with him, yo, you are just as bad, bro. Like, you don't... Nobody gets off free. That one that tried to sneak, like, yeah, I mean, I can't like, they technically get snuck as well. I'll give him a pass. Summers, you were terrible. Yeah, you could say that he got snuck as well, but like, he heard the attack getting called out, he just couldn't react. But Garling, it's because you were named the champion of God. How do you even get named the champion of God Valley? I mean, yeah, we obviously get to know that him being called the champion of God Valley must mean that it was because of Jason the slaves and whatnot, but still, what have you done to be the champion of God Valley? In fact, you lost things there. You lost Shaki, and then you lost your kid. What are you the champion of? Losing, my nigga. You did nothing. You, like, I've been thinking of making a slander video, and you know what? Wait, hold on, whoa. I just thought about it. You lost your own kid, your own sperm. You lost to a random marine. Yeah, okay, yeah, it ends up being one of the most important people in modern day, but you lost your kid. You lost your own sperm to what? A kid. You also lost the woman that you was meant to have, to Rayleigh of all people. Like, you couldn't go and fight him. You probably would have won if you pressured him enough. But the fact that he's like fake, as I've always said, like, bro, what are you doing here? And yes, I will give Rayleigh strays doing this. Anyway, Garling, you are terrible. The rest of the Holy Knights, like, I you disgust me as well, but Garling, you lost everything here. You did nothing with your life. You have, like, what do you realistically do? Hey man, if Shamrock ain't hey, God so help me if Shamrock ain't, bro. God so help me if Shamrock ain't, bro. Now, next up, we have Emu. Now, Emu, from what I can gauge, at least in my head, and obviously it's an agenda overview, so what the fans think as well, Emu was okay. Like, yeah, did it give off like final boss vibes, you know, turning the strongest person on the island into your slave is a showcase of power, yeah, but it's like, you didn't really do much offensively. Like, you just sat there and made them like give you back shots until you was like, yeah, cool, alright, okay guys, know your gimmick attacks, okay, let me actually hit you. And at this point, it's more like Emu is a master puppeteer than being a straight up powerhouse. Like, Emu didn't unleash an attack that eviscerated them. It was more of a thing where they were like, okay, I'm just gonna make more puppets to deal with you. It feels like they have no power themselves. No, they have power themselves, but they don't have a means to like do it themselves. So they get other people to do things, like, you know, with making the Mother Flame so they can then use an ancient weapon, and then turning rocks and everybody else. And
so I just scared the ever-loving fuck out of myself. Holy shit, that was awful. Thought there was a break in my house. Oh man. There wasn't. Jeez. I'm gonna watch this and take a little nap.
You do not belong here, Seneschal. Mortals.
I'm gonna come back and react. I'm sleepy, crazy. Maybe back in a couple hours.